Then you say you just start.
Okay. Shall I start? Okay. Let's go. मेरे picture. Hello. Good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome to the first International Conference on Sustainable Business Practices, People, Planet, and Profit 2025. It is an honor to have you all here with us today. It is with great pleasure and humility that I welcome you all at this esteemed gathering. My name is Safia, and I'm deeply honored to address such a distinguished gathering of brilliant minds, thought leaders, and innovators from across the globe. The Institute of Management and Information Technology, CUTTACK, formerly known as the College of Accountancy and Management Studies, was established in the year 1962. It is a prestigious institution under the government of Odisha, offering professional and technical programs that groom students to meet the demands of the modern industry. With its strategic location near Bhubaneswar, close to major industries and research hubs, IMIT provides ample opportunities for project works, practical trainings, and research. Our institution emphasizes quality education, leadership development, innovation, and a strong sense of professional ethics. The Department of Business Management at IMIT was established to meet the ever growing demand for qualified professional managers. The department has an intake of 180 students selected through the highly competitive OJE. With its excellent academic record, modern infrastructure, and a dedicated team of faculty, the MBA department consistently produces industry ready leaders and scholars achieving outstanding university results year after year. The theme of the international conference, People, Planet, and Profit, represents the triple bottom line approach to sustainable business. This platform aims to foster dialogue on integrating economic success with social responsibility and environmental stewardship. Here, academicians, policymakers, researchers, and industry leaders will exchange insights and share best practices and collaborate on shaping a sustainable future. We are also proud to announce that selected papers from the conference will be published by Springer Proceedings, indexed by Scopus, a testament to the academic caliber and global relevance of the research being presented. To promote accessibility and inclusivity, this conference is being held in hybrid mode, accommodating both in person and virtual participation from across the globe. Now I'd like to request my fellow student volunteers to come forward and felicitate our esteemed dignitaries with eco-friendly potted plants, a symbol of our commitment to sustainability. Can you please? Okay. Please get on the stage. Okay. I request every dignitary to please come on the dais. I now request my fellow student volunteers to come forward and felicitate our esteemed dignitaries with eco-friendly potted plants, a symbol of our commitment to sustainability. I now request everyone to kindly rise and honor the BPUT anthem as it plays. Thank you, everybody. To formally begin our day on a harmonious note, I would love to invite my beloved friends Rajalakshmi Patra and Rajalakshmi Rautrai to come on stage and present the welcome song. They're not here. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते
वसिष्यते पूर्णमेव वसिष्यते स्वागतं स्वागतं मम अतिथिः शुभ स्वागतं 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 मम अतिथिः शुभ स्वागतम् আজি দিনরে হরস উল্লাসে আজি দিনরে হরস উল্লাসে অতিথি শুভ স্বাগতম 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 মম অতিথি শুভ স্বাগতম प्रणति जनाऊ हे पूज्य अतिथि पूज्य गुरु तुमे आम मथामणि प्रणति जनाऊ हे पूज्य अतिथि पूज्य गुरु तुमे आम मथामणि अतिथि गण हे तुम चरण रे अतिथि गण हे तुम चरण रे जनाउछु आमे प्रणमं स्वागतं स्वागतं मम अतिथिः शुभ स्वागतं तुमरी आशीष तुमरी स्नेह नहीं चलुथिबो आमे सबुदिन तुमरी आशीष तुमरी स्नेह नहीं चलुथिबो आमे सबुदिन तुमे पराम अतिथि महान तुमे पराम अतिथि महान तुमे सत्य शिव सुंदरम स्वागतम स्वागतम मम अतिथिः शुभ स्वागतम 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 मम अतिथिः शुभ स्वागतम मम अतिथिः शुभ स्वागतम मम अतिथिः शुभ स्वागतम. Thank you.
What a soulful voice. Thank you, Rajalakshmi. Now it's time to extend a formal welcome to our distinguished guests and hear from them. Let us begin by welcoming Dr. Chandrakant Sahu, HOD, MBA Department, IMIT CUTTACK, and our convener for ICSB 2025. Dr. Sahu's leadership is a guiding light for this event. As convener, his deep expertise and experience ensures the success of ICSB 2025. Sir, may I kindly request you to address the gathering and share your esteemed thoughts with us. Thank you.
Honorable Vice Chancellor of BPUT, Odisha, our respected patron of ICSB 2025, Professor Amyo Kumar Rath sir, esteemed Vice Chancellor of Utkal University and Chief Guest of this conference, Professor Acharya ma'am, respected Head of the Department Business Administration, Utkal University and General Chair of this conference, Professor Satya Swarup Devasi sir, revered Principal of SAIM, Bhubaneswar and Organizing Chair of this conference, Professor Raghunath Sahu sir, a respected Principal of IIT Kotak, General Organizing Chair of this conference, Professor Manas Ranjan Kabat sir, distinguished keynote speakers, Professor Ritesh, Professor Monica, who is online with us, and Professor Dubey, session chairs, authors, paper presenters, friends. A very good morning to all of you. Okay. At the outset, I invoke the blessings of Lord Ganesh the remover of obstacles and harbingers of wisdom, and Goddess Saraswati, the divine embodiment of knowledge and learning. May their grace guide us through a fruitful and meaningful academic exchange over the 2 days. Let us also reflect on the eternal Vedic invocations. Asutama Sadgamaya Tamusma Jaturgamaya and Murturma Amurtagamaya. O Lord, lead us from untruth to truth, from darkness to light, and from death to immortality. Because you are, therefore we are. हे भगवान तुमे अच्छो बोलु आमे समस्त अच्छु तेणुकर आपणकर ब्लेसिंग आम पई श्रद्धेय. So it is my immense honor and privilege to welcome you all to this international conference on sustainable business, people, planet and profit, ICSB 2025. This conference is jointly organized by Department of MBS, IMIT CUTTACK, and CIME Bhubaneswar under the esteemed patronage of Biju Patnaik University of Technology, BHUT Odisha. We gather here today in a shared pursuit of sustainable progress. Our theme, People, Planet and Profit, reflects the urgent global need to realign business practices towards a more equitable, environmentally responsible and economically resilient futures. As we reflect on our mission, I am reminded of a powerful line from our anthem, BPUT anthem. BPUT Amar Asar Alogo, Ame Jagatuku Jiti. BPUT is our ray of hope and light, and we shall triumph over the world. And these lines are not only poetic, but profoundly visionary. The ray of light symbolizes knowledge, innovations, and ethical leadership under the dynamic leadership of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Amyo Kumar Rath sir. BPUT has emerged as a vibrant and forward-looking institution. You will be happy to know that our university was recently featured on the popular television quiz show that is Kaun Bane Karodpati, hosted by the legendary Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, a proud moment for the entire BPUT community. The triumph we envisions both at BPUT and its constituent colleges is not one of dominance or mere accolades, but of meaningful and lasting impact. Impact that empowers communities, nurtures responsible leadership, and contributes to the preservation of our planet. It is about shaping a future where knowledge leads to social transformations, where innovation is rooted in ethics, and where success is measured by how inclusively and sustainably we grow. This is the triumph that BPUT and its constituent colleges aspire towards, not just in academic ranking, but in the lives we touch and the change we inspire for generations to come. A special words of reverence must go to Utkal University, the mother university of our state, which has for decades been the cradle of knowledge, nurturing generations of scholars, leaders, and change makers. It has shaped the future of many, including myself and countless others in this gathering. As we deliberate on the theme of people, planet, and profit, we are reminded that institutions like Utkal University and BPUT have long embodied this balance, placing people at the heart of learning, promoting intellectual stewardship, and enabling meaningful contributions to society. Their legacies continue to illumine the path towards a more sustainable, inclusive, and enlightened Odisha. A heartful salutation to Madam Professor Sabita Acharya, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Utkal University, for her inspiring leadership and unwavering commitment to advancing higher education and research in this state. At IMIT Kotak, a proud constituent college of BPUT, we are committed to advancing scholarship and actions in sustainable development. Our faculty and researchers are actively working in cutting-edge areas such as green supply chain management, corporate social responsibilities, ESG, environmental social governance, and HR analytics and ethical decision making. ICSB 2025 stands as a testament to our institutional vision to be a catalyst that translates academic knowledge into societal transformations. Through this conference, we aim to foster interdisciplinary dialogue among scholars, industry leaders, and policymakers, encourage cross-sector collaboration that drive innovations, provide a platform for researchers to disseminate impactful findings, develop a roadmap where people, planet, and profit can coexist harmoniously in business models. We are honored that Springer Nature has partnered with us to publish selected high quality papers from ICSB 2025. This not only enhances the visibility of research, but also contributes to the global academic discourse on sustainability. Our gratitude extends to the reviewers and editors whose diligence ensured the academic rigor of this conference. Let ICSB 2025 be more than a conference. Let it be a movement to challenge outdated paradigm, to push boundaries, and to institutionalize sustainability, not just in academia, but in corporate boardrooms, governance policies, and entrepreneurial ventures. As Robert Swan says, the greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. Let us not wait, let us lead. As convener, I once again seek the blessings of the Almighty to guide us through a successful transformative event. May this gathering of minds and hearts spark collaborations that outlast the conference and ideas that outlive us all. Thank you all. Bande Utkal Janani.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wise words. Now we welcome Dr. Raghunath Sahu, Principal, SINE Bhubaneswar, and our organizing chair for ICSB 2025. His visionary leadership promotes innovation, industry academia, collaboration, and holistic student development. Aligning perfectly with the mission of this conference, I request you, sir, to share your words of wisdom and address this August gathering.
Thank you. Honorable Vice Chancellor BPUT, Professor Amya Kumar Rath, Honorable Vice Chancellor Utkal University, Madam Sabita Acharya, Professor Satyaswarup Devasis, Head of the Department of Management, Utkal University, my colleague Professor Manas Ranjan Kabat, Principal IMIT, faculty friends, and my dear students. It's an honor and privilege for me to address on this momentous occasion the inauguration of International Conference on Sustainable Business 2025. Actually, this is the first ever conference on management to be jointly hosted by us and IMIT under the aegis of BHU University of Technology, Odisha. So we are very thankful to our Honorable Vice Chancellor to have permitted us to conduct such a program, and I hope this will continue in future also. So far as the theme of this conference is concerned, this has been very carefully chosen, keeping in track with the recent trends of management, that is sustainability. In fact, sustainability is a buzzword because it has a very broad concept and a very broad meaning. But it again is followed by a great question mark. Question mark in the sense, who makes us sustainable, why sustainability, and why sustainability is needed for us. It again reminds us, and we go back to our school days when we are being taught with the Darwin's theory of evolution, that is survival for the fittest. One who want to exist, he has to struggle and survive. So with that concept, we are moving a transition from the traditional business to a sustainable business. As we all know, in the traditional business, there was a concept of buy and sell. We used to buy and sell some products, make some money out of it, and that is what is called business in our normal concept. But there has been a change or a transition from that sort of business to today's business, which is called as a sustainable business. Sustainable business, again, is a question because what makes our business to become sustainable so as to exist in the market. This theme is also followed by, you can see the three taglines, that is people, profit, and planet. These are so-called the pillars of sustainability. If we think of National Educational Policy 2020, that also envisages that educational landscape to be aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals, popularly known as SDG, which has been formulated by United Nations in probably 2015 or so. That takes into account, it is not only the business to be made, but how to economize the business and how to take care of our environment and how to take care of our people who are engaged in making a business. So that makes sense in giving these three terms, that is the people, profit, and planet. So that takes into account how to economize the business in terms of profit, how to take care of our people who are engaged in making a business, that is the people. And after all, we have to take care of our own environment around us, that is planet. But in my terminology, I want to add just one P more, that is partnership. That is my personal feeling, that partnership, I mean the collaboration which we need to do in order to have a sustainable business. Because if we intend to start a business, we cannot think of making a sustainable business from day one. It's a economic, it's a continuous process of making the business sustainable. But after that, when we say the three pillars of sustainability, that is people, planet, and profit, we need to focus on these three things in order to make a sustainable business. So for that reason, we have chosen this topic as the recent trend in management, as a change management, and as a change management, as well as a recent trend in management. I have come across various speeches when our Honorable Vice Chancellor used to insist on outcome-based education and experiential learning and all those things. Now, the time has changed that we need not focus ourselves while teaching in the classrooms. We have to go beyond that. So there is a transition from making a business and how to make us aware about the business. So that is what we need to transform ourselves as a faculty to communicate to our students, the present generation, because our generation is already gone. Next generation has to learn the concept of sustainability in each and every aspect, not only in business, but you need to understand the concept of sustainability and what makes it sustainable and competitive in order to exist in the whole world. So that is how we need to imbibe the thing in our students, because a lot of students are there from our colleges. This is a request from my side to all the faculty members to make them aware about the sustainability, go beyond the classroom teaching. What our Vice Chancellor used to say, that is outcome-based education and experiential learning. We need to go out of the class and make our students educate regarding the sustainability. So I hope these 2 days sessions will be quite informative and full of academic deliberations and all those things which are needed for you. These 2 days, 5th and 6th of May, will give so much of discussions, academic discussions and deliberations on this particular issue. I once again welcome you all to this gathering. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your wise words, sir. Now I'd like to welcome Professor Manas Ranjan Kabat, Principal, IMIT CUTTACK. With numerous publications, editorial contributions, and organizational affiliations, Professor Kabat exemplifies excellence in leadership. His presence today energizes our mission of promoting sustainable business practices. We would be honored to hear from you, sir. Please grace the stage.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, Uttkal University, Sabita Acharya Madam, today's chief guest. Honorable Vice Chancellor, BPUT, Professor Amya Kumar Rath sir, General Chair of the Conference, Devashish, my colleague, Principal Saim R.N. Sahu sir, and convener of the conference, Chandrakant sir, and all keynote speaker, session chairs, participants, authors. On behalf of IMIT CUTTACK, I welcome you all to this conference. I am not a man of MBA, but under the visionary leadership of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Amya sir, we are the two constituent colleges under BPUT, SAIM and IMIT. So we plan to organize a conference, and when we discussed with our Vice Chancellor, he told that it is a very interesting topic and a very demanding topic. So you go ahead. So anyhow, we started to organize this conference. And when we collect papers, we got around 90 papers, out of which we selected 28 papers, because the publishing partner is Springer, and Springer has a very rigorous review procedure. So all the papers are reviewed rigorously, and we finally, Springer has accepted 28 papers to be published. And that has also we collaborated with the IIMT INTERSCIENCE Institute of Management Technology for this conference. We hope all of you will enjoy this particular theme. As Zaren Sausa told you many things about sustainable business. And we have Professor Devasis from Utkal University is heading the Utkal University MBA department. So he will also elaborate. And we have the keynote speaker, Professor Dubey from XIMB. So he will also deliver. And two more keynote speakers are there online. They will also tell you. So these 2 days, it will be very informative for you. And as Hausa told that this is very informative, demanding, and NEP also says that. So you all be careful and be vigilant on this particular conference. Don't waste your 2 days. Listen very carefully all the papers and the keynote speakers, and it will definitely help you. Thank you. Thank you all for your participation.
Thank you so much, sir, for your esteemed thoughts. Let us now welcome the General Chair of ICSB 2025, Professor Satya Swarup Debashish, Head of the Department of Business Administration, Utkal University. With over 25 years of teaching and research experience, his illustrious career spans renowned institutions such as Nirma University, GGSIPU, Keat University, and more. A prolific researcher, he has authored over 35 Scopus and UGC Care listed papers, 9 textbooks with reputed publishers, and successfully guided 16 PhD scholars. He has held numerous leadership roles, including director of the Utkal Innovation and Incubation Center and coordinator of the prestigious programs under RUSA and Ministry of Education. His contributions to academia, research, and innovation are truly commendable. May I now invite you, sir, to address and enlighten us with your experience and perspective.
A very good morning to one and all. A revered patron for the conference, the Vice Chancellor, BPUT, Professor Amya Kumar Ratha sir. Revered Chief Guest and my authority at Utkal University, the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Utkal University, Professor Sabita Acharya Madam. The Principal, IMIT, Professor Manas Kabat sir. The Principal, SAIM, Professor R.N. Sahu sir. The Conference Convener, Dr. Chandrakant Sahu. The organizing team members, invited delegates, professors, faculty members, paper presenters, research scholars, students, media personnel, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to one and all. As the General Chair for the conference, I am privileged to extend a warm and cordial welcome to one and all over here to the International Conference on the theme Sustainable Business Practice, People, Profit, and Planet. Now, this conference aims to serve as a platform for academics, practitioners, policymakers, and industry leaders to exchange knowledge, share best practices, and discuss innovative solutions that drive sustainable development. Spread across 2 days, today and tomorrow, the conference has 3 sessions apart from the inaugural function. The broad sub-themes are sustainable business strategies, environmental sustainability, social sustainability, economic sustainability, innovation and technology, governance, policy, collaboration, and sustainable HR practices. Now, in this modern era, with climatic changes, economic volatility, and social inequality as major global challenges, business organizations ought to operate responsibly and not just only for profits. Because long ago, Adam Smith said that all business are only for making profits. I think that is not going to hold ground now. Sustainable business practices grounded in the triple bottom of people, profit, and planet propose an ethical, as well as strategic architecture for sustained success. Now, this structure focuses on fair labor practices, diversity, community engagement, and employee well-being on one hand, embedded with creating financial opportunity for stakeholders in the long run, along with taking care of resource efficiency, waste management, and sustainable sourcing. This consolidated approach seeks to harmonize financial goals blended with social responsibility and economic and environmental stewardship, recreating values for community, ecosystem, and stakeholders at large. Now, the foundations of sustainability is mounted upon the pillars of strategic integration, inclusive leadership, sustainable supply chain, and measurable key performance indicators. Now, the best example is Unilever's Sustainable Living Plan that has aligned business growth with the company's environmental footprint and escalating positive social impact. Practices like ethical sourcing, transparent reporting, and fair wage policies undertaken are blatant reflections of responsible governance. Entrepreneurs nowadays are increasingly supported by impact investors who seek measurable social and environmental benefits in addition to financial gains. Now, this merger has created an ecosystem that helps sustainable ventures to thrive and prosper. Present day entrepreneurs have been switching from the linear take, make, dispose model to circular business framework that focuses on reusing, repairing, and recycling. Now, one of the best example is a company by the name Interface. It's a global flooring company that has re-engineered its entire supply chain and product design based on circular economic principle. It aims to become carbon negative by the year 2040. Interface uses recycled and bio-based materials in carpet and tracks and reduces life cycle emissions for every product. Now, having said over this, technology is also an enabler, and technology is an indispensable enabler of sustained business practices. Digital transformative applications like data analytics, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence have enabled companies to monitor energy usage, track supply chain, and predict maintenance needs, thus boosting efficiency while minimizing waste. Now, sustainable business practice have been the word that we are talking over here in the conference, but it is not bereft of challenges. Transition from conventional paradigms to sustainable scheme may require significant upfront investment in technology, training, and infrastructure. Among cases where companies have actively incorporated sustainable practices, IKEA, a leading furniture company, is a predominant example that has committed to become climate positive by year 2030. IKEA has been investing in renewable energy by offering furniture buyback program and using sustainable material in product design. Tesla, all of you are aware, integrates social energy, energy storage, and innovation in sustainable transport beyond manufacturing electric vehicles. And the examples go on. Even Google Incorporation, which has already become an industry leader, for Google, sustainability was a buzzword since 2007. Likewise, in India, Unilever has launched Sustainable Living Brands Initiative. The Tata Sustainability Report oversees CSR and environmental initiatives, with Tata Power promoting solar microgrids in rural India and Tata Steel reducing energy consumption per ton of output. And the example in Indian scenario goes on. Now, to briefly conclude my deliberation, The business of the future is not only about being the best in the world, but being the best for the world. Sustainable business practices are no longer a luxury or a public relations strategy, but a necessity for long-term viability. By balancing the triple bottom, people, profit, and planet, organizations would find it easy to future-proof their operations, contributing to societal well-being and drive innovations. Now, with this, I wish all the best for the conference. I am extremely thankful to all the dignitaries on the dais for gracing the occasion in spite of their busy schedule. And I wish that all the paper presenters, session chairs go on very smoothly, and please take the maximum benefit of all the deliberations. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us with your experience and perspective. It gives me immense pride to welcome Professor Omya Kumar Ratha, patron of this event and respected Vice Chancellor of BPUT Odisha. Professor Ratha brings over 3 decades of unparalleled expertise in computer science and academic administration. Okay, thank you so much.
Professor Sabita Acharya, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Utkal Universities, then Principal Saim, Professor R.N. Sahu, Principal IMT Cuttack, Professor Manas, Professor Devasis from Utkal Universities, Chandrakant, Associate Professor IMT Cuttack. The conference is Sustainable Business, International Conference on Sustainable Business, People, Profit and Planet. People, planet, and profit. See, today the scenario is, because you know the statistics, half of the Indian population is below 25, and below 35 there are 66% of population in India. Even predicted that by 2027 half of the 1/5 of the global workforce will be from India. That is the statistics. So quality of education is very, very important. In BPUT, you have seen, of course, SAIM and your IMIT Cuttack is BPUT constituent college. In NAC terminology, we say that this is Department of Universities, like CUPGS in Center of UG and PG Studies at BPUT Raurkela, similarly IMIT Cuttack and SAIM. I could see that this program, this international conference is jointly organized by IMIT Cuttack and SAIM. See, idea is when we latest technology, when we attend conference or when we go for a paper presentation, you must, after completing this 2 days, you must go outside, speak for 20 minutes in this topic. That is the idea, to get the latest knowledge on the topic. In BPUT, like we believe in implementation of national education policy. In 1986, there was national policy on education. Program of action in 1992, that's 5 years. 2020, this national education policy has been written, and 2025, we need to implement completely. Of course, in letter and spirit, not only on papers. So we have gone for a curriculum conclave. We have gone for you have seen that BPUT Tech Carnivals, BPUT Project Exhibition, BPUT Research Conclave, BPUT Hackathon, BPUT Industry Academia Conclave, and this year we are adding BPUT multi-conferences for all the disciplines. That's the way we believe in participative learning of students. It's a to tune according to the students they wish, right? Whatever student wish the faculty should teach. That is the way the world is moving. Coming back to the topic, it's my privilege to be here in the gathering of first international conference on sustainable business, people, planet, and profits. ICSB 2025, organized by IMIT CUTTACK and CUTTACK, in collaboration with, of course, distinguished publishing partners Springer Nature. I extend my warm welcome and greetings to the organizers, paper presenters, editors, and every participant who has made this platform possible. The theme is People, Planet, and Profit, captures the triple bottom line of modern sustainable business. But why do these three P's matter? Because they represent the interconnected priorities of our time. People matter because no business can thrive without valuing its workforce, customers, and the communities it impacts. Human capital is not just a resource, it's a stakeholders. Studies consistently show that businesses prioritizing employee well-being and diversity experience greater innovation and loyalty. Planet matters because the ecological footprint of industry is no longer ignorable. From rising global temperatures to biodiversity loss, the planet is sending urgent signals. Research now confirms that environmentally responsible companies are more resilient to risk and better aligned with the expectations of climate conscious investors and regulators. Profit matters because financial viability is essential for scalability and impact, but it must be achieved ethically and sustainably. Profit enables investment in innovation, social initiatives, and green technologies, but not at the cost of exploitation or depletion. The idea is not to choose one over the other, but to balance all three. This is the heart of sustainable development. This conference is a testimony to that vision, reflecting the global urgency to integrate sustainability into business practices. The research presented here covers diverse themes frameworks, ESG frameworks, circular economy, green HRM, socially responsible investing, and more. These studies are not abstract, they are actionable blueprints for sustainable transformation. Recent global research validates this shift. 2024 UN Global Compact report affirms that companies aligning with sustainability goals are 30% more likely to demonstrate long-term growth. A Deloitte survey 2023 shows that 65% of millennials prefer to work for companies with clear sustainability commitments and highlighting the role of people in attracting talent. You can see in this survey that sustainability is. To the budding researchers here, your inquiry methods. Your work is part of a global effort to answer complex questions. How can technology democratize sustainable business? How can policies incentivize carbon neutrality? How can we design inclusive growth models that work in both rural India and urban Africa? I urge each of you to look at sustainability not as a constraint but as a innovation challenge. Let people, planet, and profit not be seen as trade-offs but as independent pillars of responsible business. I congratulate the organizing team once again for their tireless efforts. I thank the reviewers, the editors, and publishing partners, Springer Nature, for upholding academic excellence. And to all the scholars, may your ideas spark not only dialogue but tangible change. Let ICSB 2025 be remembered as a moment where we did not just talk about sustainability but placed to live and lead by it. Thank you. I wish the conference a great success. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you so much for your contribution, sir. Under your guidance, BPUT is steadily advancing towards innovation, quality, and global collaboration. And we extend a sincere gratitude for your continued support and inspirational leadership. Now, we are truly honored to welcome our chief guest, Professor Sabita Acharya, the distinguished Vice Chancellor of Utkal University. Professor Acharya is pioneering academician and researcher with a deep commitment to social transformation through education. With expertise in anthropology, gender rights, and community development, she has led impactful projects in collaboration with organizations such as ILO, DFID, and CWDS. She has served in various leadership roles, including Director of the Women's Studies Department and Head of Anthropology at Utkal University. Her visionary leadership is propelling Utkal University towards inclusive growth, academic reform, and global recognition. We are truly honored by her gracious presence today. Please join me in welcoming Professor Sabita Acharya and thanking her for inspiring us with her leadership and dedication to higher education. I now invite you, ma'am, to deliver your address.
Good morning to all of you. Esteemed members on the dais, Professor Amey Kumar Rath, Patron, ICSB 2025, Vice Chancellor of BPUT Odisha. Professor Raghunath Sahu, the Organizing Chair, Principal CIME Bhubaneswar. Professor Manas Ranjan Kabat, Organizing Chair, Principal IMIT CUTTACK. Professor Satyaswarup Debashish, General Chair, Head of the Department, Utkal University, Business Administration. Professor B. Nisad, Professor, Faculty of Management and Finance, University of Colombo, Sri Lanka, who has joined online, the keynote speaker. Professor Shrikant Patnaik, the Program and Publication Chair, Director, IIMT Bhubaneswar. And Dr. Ritesh Kumar Dubey, Professor in Accounting and Finance, XIMB Bhubaneswar, the keynote speaker. Please of the dais. And all the distinguished faculty members, distinguished speakers, participants, research scholars, and student friends. I congratulate the organizer for organizing International Conference on Sustainable Business, People, Planet, and Profit. It is jointly organized by IMIT Cuttack, CIME Bhubaneswar in collaboration with IIMT Bhubaneswar. And now I was talking with Professor Rath that all were under Utkal University. Now it has shifted to BPUT. So being the mother university of Odisha, you all are our children. And as far as the new education policy 2020 is concerned, as Professor Rath mentioned, that the focus is always been given to collaborative research, multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary research work should be done. And as you know, the Prime Minister of India, now he has given his statement that research, it was research in development. Now it is research for development. This purpose has been changed. You will do research, collaborative research, interdisciplinary research, multidisciplinary research for the development of the society. So the world now is standing at a defining moment. Never before the call for sustainable business practice has been louder, more urgent, more vital for our collective future. We have many challenges. All of you know that climate change is a great challenge, social inequality, economic uncertainty, all are the challenges. Now we are looking for inclusiveness and equity. So in the common platform, everybody is same. We should include everybody. So today, within these challenges, there are many historic opportunities to rethink business, to foster innovation, which can serve humanity, and to build an economy that protects and regenerates our planet. You must be knowing new education policy is giving importance to IKS, Indian Knowledge System. In each and every course, every paper, that will be an element and component that IKS, the Indian Knowledge System. So we should know that how powerful, how valuable it is, and we should think and rethink and apply it in future. So India, as a rising global force, it holds a pivotal role in this transformation. With our demographic dividend, technological leadership, ancient traditions that revere the nature, India can become an important and sustainable development for the world. As we know that SDGs, that Sustainable Development Plan, we will take this as the guidelines, how you will develop or how you will improve that concept of sustainability. As I know, the theme of the conference collaborates sustainability with three pillars: people, planet, and profit. This captures the essence of the transformative agenda. People means, the individual is the key to the society. Society, we are talking about society, group of individuals. So the soul of sustainable development is individual or people who are having inclusive growth. So according to International Labour Organization, 1 in every 5 young people worldwide, nearly 270 million individuals are disengaged from education, employment, or training. So this is not merely an economic challenge, but it is a call for action to create business and which are inclusive, empowering, and equitable. So to create more entrepreneurs. So that is, in educational institutions, we're encouraging the students to become entrepreneur and to start his or her own business. So business has no longer see human capital as a cost, but as their greatest asset. Investments in education, in skill development, in diversity, and decent work conditions are investments for long-term prosperity. You see, this is the World Skill Center, this building. The government is encouraging the young people to become an entrepreneur with having a specific skill. At the time when I was coming in the lift, there are many trainers who were inside that lift, and all were looking very serious and trained, disciplined. So I was happy on seeing them that lot of students they entered into the lift to come with us. So this is a sign to encourage the youth to become a businessman or to show their own skill. So in future they will be the skilled personnels. So in India, the youth population is vast and vibrant, and empowering our youth with the right skills, values, opportunities, it is critical to create a resilient economy that had compassionate society. And about the planet, the planet is the second pillar of today's international conference. Planet is, World Economic Global Risk Report 2024 says that six of the top 10 global risks facing humanity are environmental, from extreme weather conditions to biodiversity collapse and climate action failure. So we are already witnessing the impact. For example, the record breaking heat waves everybody is feeling nowadays, and the decrease of the groundwater, the loss of agricultural productivity, the urgent need for the clean energy transition. So these are the facts which we are all every day we are facing. So the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC reports, says that we have already warmed the earth by 1 degree Celsius, crossing 1.5 degree threshold, which could unleash the irreversible damage to ecosystem and human societies. Still then there is a hope, that is the under the leadership, under the that which is called as leadership, under leadership of the great persons, India has committed to achieving net zero emission by 2070. It aims to generate 50% of the electricity from the renewable sources by 2030. So, our collective innovation, commitment, effort, and policy frameworks can turn the tide. So, sustainable business must therefore go beyond compliance. They must embed environmental stewardship into their way, their very DNA, through green innovation, through circular economy models, and net zero supply chain. And on the topic that is profit, the profit is opposite of sustainability, but that is a false dichotomy. Where the question of sustainability comes, then we need not worry about the profit, the benefit. But profit is required. The responsible profit is the fuel that can drive sustainable development in scale. The Business and Sustainable Development Commission estimates that pursuing SDGs could open 12 million trillion dollars in new market opportunities and create up to 380 million jobs by 2030. Just 6 years, after 6 years, 5 years, sorry. So sustainability and profitability are not mutually exclusive, they are mutually reinforcing. So we should look forward to understand business, this truth. And those that invest in green technology is a buzzword nowadays, and that empower communities, and those that embrace ethical governance, which will be the ones who thrive in the 21st century. So now there is a urgent need and opportunity for the youth who are the future leaders, to the brilliant young minds who are present here as participants, as paper presenters, the students. researchers, entrepreneurs of tomorrow, I can say you are not inheriting a perfect world, but you are inheriting a world full of possibilities and opportunities. You just capture that opportunity and go ahead with your future. So your ideas, your innovation, your leadership, that will definitely determine whether business becomes a force for sustainability or a cause for future imbalance. So to my students, be bold, be ethical, and be determined. Let your ambitions include the well-being of every child, every tree, and every river. So you remember, true measure of success is not just what you build, but what we sustain. So now I would like to congratulate all the team of organizing committee for organizing such type of conference by taking such a nice and such a valuable topic, that is sustainable business, people, planet, and profit, which will definitely add, definitely increase your confidence, and that can also give you some points impetus to decide about your career. And special thanks to the organizer for inviting me to speak few words to the budding youth who are sitting in front of me. And I wish the conference a grand success and to make a sustainable impact at the end of the day. So let us move forward together for the people, for the planet, and for enduring a purposeful profit. So I wish again all the best for a very smooth and successful conduct of this international conference. Thank you very much. Bande Utkal Janani. Jai Jagannath.
Thank you for your scholarly contribution and insights to this esteemed gathering, ma'am. Now I'd like to request our esteemed dignitaries to do the honors of unveiling the Book of Abstract. Thank you, dignitaries, for doing the honors. Next, I humbly request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Omyo Kumar Rotho, to graciously felicitate our Chief Guest, Professor Sabita Acharya, the esteemed Vice Chancellor of Utkal University, with a memento. I'd now invite our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Amya Kumar Rathore, to kindly felicitate the General Chair of ICSB 2025, Professor Satya Swarup Devashish, Head of the Department of Business Administration, Utkal University. Thank you, respected dignitaries. I now request our co-convener, Dr. Swati Mishra from IMIT CUTTACK, to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Safia. Very good afternoon to one and all. Respected dignitaries, distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, faculty members, scholars, participants, and my dear students. As we draw this enriching inaugural session to a close, it's my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks. First and foremost, I extend our deepest gratitude to Professor Sabita Acharya, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Utkal University, for her gracious presence and unwavering support. Ma'am, your insightful address and encouraging words have truly set the tone for meaningful academic dialogue and collaboration. On behalf of the organizing committee and all present here, I express my heartfelt gratitude to Professor Amya Kumar Rath, Honorable Vice Chancellor of BPUT and Conference Patron, for his esteemed presence and invaluable contribution to this event. Sir, your inspiring address and thoughtful insights have added immense value to the proceedings of this conference. Under your dynamic leadership, BPUT continues to set benchmarks in technical education and innovation. We are deeply grateful for your time, encouragement, and continued support in promoting meaningful academic dialogue. I take this opportunity to express our deep gratitude to Professor Satya Swarup Devashish, Head of MBA Department, Utkal University, for his exceptional leadership, vision, and unwavering support in making this event a grand success. Sir, your dedication to academic excellence and your meticulous guidance throughout the planning and execution of this event have been truly commendable. Your inspiring presence and encouraging words have left a lasting impression on all of us and have elevated the quality of this conference. I would like to express our sincere gratitude to Professor Aryan Sahu, Principal of SAIM, for his exemplary leadership and constant support throughout the organization of this conference. Sir, your vision, encouragement, and active involvement have been instrumental in making this event a grand success. I would like to express our sincere gratitude to Professor Manas Ranjan Kabad, Principal, IMIT Cuttack, for his invaluable support, inspiring leadership, and constant encouragement throughout the organization of this event. This conference would not have been possible without your guidance and motivation, sir. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Chandrakant Sahu, convener of this conference. Sir, your meticulous planning, thoughtful coordination, and passion for academic excellence have been the driving force behind every aspect of this conference. I would also like to thank all distinguished delegates from different corners of the world, IMIT family members, SAIM family members, media persons, and my dearest students for your patient hearing and making this event successful. Lastly, I want to just say one thing, that our inaugural session is a grand success because there are two things: action and the impact behind that action. Even if your action is ordinary, the impact must be positive, productive, and creative. Though our inaugural session is just like any ordinary inaugural session of a conference, but the output which I came because of our distinguished dignitaries, that is commendable. Once again, thank you, all of you. We will start the keynote session in 10 minutes. Please be patient and be seated.
the overall sustainability up over there, right? To highlight the same, let me share the first slide that we have up over there, that what we have done to our planet over there. If go to the next one, yeah. Click on that. So this is how our planet was, right, around 1884. The image is taken from NASA's, right? And then the color has changed in 2022 to a kind of an orange, right? And this is the entire discussion that is happening around the globe, right? Be it COP29 now, or be it the United Nations like sustainable development goals, or be it the Paris Accord that we signed for like carbon neutrality in sooner or later up there, right? So this change that we are seeing there, right, the temperature, how the temperature of earth has changed in from 1884 to 2022 up there, right? And what we are basically trying to do over here is basically trying to limit the temperature rise below 1.5 degrees Celsius. Just 1.5 degrees Celsius. Does it really make sense? Right? When we are into the habit of living in an air conditioned room where the temperature outside is around like maybe 33 degrees Celsius, and your temperature inside your room is around like 22 or 24, or in some cases people like it at even 18 degrees Celsius or 16 degrees Celsius. Does it make sense for 1.5 degrees Celsius? Now, to give it a financial perspective, right, this is how we are basically being impacted, right? There are 15 cities that could be underwater by 2030. 15 cities. That means a lot of people who are living over there, a lot of businesses who are there, right? Had we controlled the temperature rise, had we taken some steps which were more sustainable in the past, probably this is something that could have been avoided, right? Some of the costly, the next example that we have is basically the recent example of the Los Angeles, California fire, the wildfire that basically happened. Do you want something like this happening around you? And it is one of the costliest like mishaps that have happened in the recent decade up there, right? So if you look up there, the Los Angeles wildfires have costed around $1 billion. So being sustainable, or a conference that we are having on sustainability, is something that is the need of the hour, because a lot of money is basically being spent, or a lot of money that is basically being put at stake because of these kind of events that is happening across the globe, and India is not also untouched on that. If you recall the Chennai floods that happened, and the airport was supposed to be completely shut down, right? Couple of years back when we had uh, uh, the mishap on one of the uh, uh, places, like I'm forgetting the name, in Uttarakhand, one of the places that we had, either Kedarnath, I believe it was Kedarnath, right? Which was, so that kind of a mishap, like can we actually let that kind of mishap happen? And who has to take that responsibility, right? This is where everyone, each one of us across the globe, this is how we are basically being impacted. The red dots that you are seeing up there, that is more than 10 million people who are basically being impacted over there, right? So this is something that is presenting the urban population at risk, right? In 2050s, if we talk about, right, so 10 million people across, and you can see that there are around 4 dots just in India, right? If you look at Gujarat, Mumbai, right, then towards the south there is one, and then towards the West Bengal there is one, right? So there are 4 different locations that we are seeing up there, and that is basically 10 millions of people who are basically being impacted. And remember, people are also resources, and a lot of investment goes into people up there. Okay, now what is the reason for all these temperature rise that we are looking at, right? The biggest source for all this thing that is happening is basically the uses of our traditional sources of energy. But can we actually move away from them? we can, but then it's not something that will happen overnight. So biggest sources of carbon emission in India, if you look at it, right? So it's basically the electricity, gas, and supply that we have, right? So can we say that, okay, NTPC, can you please close down all your like power plants and then let us switch to another sources of energy over there? That's not possible. But then what we can do over here is that we can start making some conscious efforts towards transitioning from traditional source of energy to a renewable source of energy. And NTPC is doing the same. A lot of us might have heard of the NTPC green IPO that came across, right? So that is a step that they have taken. They cannot close it completely right away. And this is something which is also known as tilting. In the jargon of the sustainability that we have, it is known as tilting. That immediately you can't do it, but then start making small steps towards a better future, towards a sustainable future up there. And this is where, if you look at it, right, so we were in 2010, our dependency on fossil fuels was around 84%. But then in 2030, we are expecting it to be 50-50. And by 2070, we are expecting the country to be carbon neutral there, right? So all renewable sources of energy will be there. And like a lot of innovation is happening nowadays, like government is creating policies. We are discussing about it, right? These are basically bringing us newer ideas that what can be done for a better future. How many of you have heard of small modular reactors? How many of you have heard of nuclear reactors? Everyone, right? Now, nuclear reactors, by default, when you hear about them or whenever you think about them, one thing that basically comes up is that one, a huge cost, and then second, which is a huge risk. But then also a perpetual source of kind of energy that can be basically provided. What if innovation can bring in that domain where it can be converted into a kind of a transportable, the way we have gensets sitting besides this building, right? What we can have a nuclear reactor which is besides this building over there, and which is safe, smaller in size, and if that can basically continuously provide one clean and then a long duration energy, that requirement that we have, right? So that is something which is a feasibility. A lot of innovation is happening and the government is basically making policy on that part as well. So small modular reactor is something that we'll be looking forward to in near future. But are we taking the right decisions in the right spirit and in right at right pace? And this particular theme that you're looking at, which countries are actually kind of on track? Now, this is where they wanted to meet their 2030 renewable energy targets, renewable energy or renewable electricity targets that they had. So, if you look at the red dots over there, that is what they were supposed to achieve, and orange dots is what actually they achieved. Now, compare rest of the world with just China. What China was supposed to achieve? The China was supposed to achieve something till here. But China has been able to do more than what they were targeting at. And what about rest of the world? We are lagging behind our targets up there. Now the question is, if China can do it, why can't we as a country? Why can't we, rest of the people who are up over there, right? So why can't we basically do that? And that is something that basically leads us to thinking and brainstorming about these things up over there. Yeah. Now, I would like to bring in that perspective of sustainability that we often talk about, right? So let's talk about it from a research perspective, right? A kind of a conference, academic conference, right? So what I did, I looked at a lot of literature in the sustainability domain, right? And then tried to do something on the bibliometry analysis, which is more of a visual way of basically doing a kind of a literature review. Okay. So I chose multiple papers up over there, like again, a Scopus index database we had access to. We brought down around 3,000 papers, right? Filtered 326 papers using 32 relevant keywords, which were more into the sustainability domain, right? Like clean finance, climate change, climate bonds, right? Green bonds, ESG, and so on, right? We brought them together. And when we look at the keywords of these words up over there, like what was very much prominent over there, it was basically green finance. That is something that was prominent over there, right? Green bonds, that was prominent, and COVID-19 was prominent. Recall those days when you were prior to COVID-19, I was based at Hyderabad, and it had been a lot of time when we actually heard the birds chirping around us, right? We were actually living in a kind of a concrete jungle up over there. We did not see a clear sky very often, right? We did not hear birds chirping around us. But then COVID-19 happened, right? A lot of lives were lost, but then a lot of realizations also happened. When everything stopped, few of the things changed around us. And what changed? It was the environment around us that basically changed, right? We were seeing clear sky more often than before. We were hearing these birds chirping early in the morning. We were able to see a lot of sparrows roaming around there, right? Which wasn't there before. And this is again something, right, that was basically highlighted in the research that was basically happening over there. Who were doing all these kind of research? When you will look at the research over there, so it was more of a China that was doing in recent area, and the number of research papers coming from China, that is indicated by the size of the bubble that is being represented over there, right? But then who were doing it far from before? That is basically, if you look at the color scheme that you have, so those who are bluer in color, they were doing it since some time, right? Those which were greener, they have basically picked it up in very recent times. And these are essentially the publication times. The research would have started probably couple of years from there itself. Good to see that China, India, Pakistan, a lot of smaller countries, even like Nigeria. Finally, when we come back to it, right? So because the again, this was something, this was done much before I basically got this invitation for this conference over there. This is a part of an ongoing research that we are working on, right? You can see that sustainability and climate change are linked, and the linkage basically happens through business, basically, which is basically a green finance and green bonds, right? Essentially the capital that gets into businesses over there. So there is a way where we can basically go ahead and get into sustainability, right? And the climate change and sustainability are linked to one another, and one way or the other way to basically reach out there is going to be how our capital is basically going to be employed. And who are going to employ the capital? The governments, the policy makers, right? And also the businesses, right? A lot of capital basically gets employed into the businesses there. So we have to basically approach sustainability over there. And then this basically calls for actions, right? Actions for climate change. Now, the Paris Agreement, which was, I believe it was COP 14 or COP 15 up over there, right? They basically agreed to limit the global warming. Remember that first slide that we had, right? So we wanted to limit the global warming well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, not today's date, right? Pre-industrial levels that we had in 1884. We just want to limit that to just 2 degrees Celsius rise up there. If we are not able to limit that, then it's going to wreak havoc. And a lot of those cities that we saw on the graph, they are basically going to be gone. A lot of Icelandic countries that we have on today's date, they will not exist anymore. Okay. Greenhouse gas emission must decline by 43% from current levels. And all of this will basically require a lot of money to be invested in. Now, imagine how much money is required over there. So, to give you a perspective, the SDG report of 2022 says that the estimated fund requirement is, go back, 1.6 trillion to USD 3.8 trillion over there. And what is the size of India's GDP over there on today's date? Roughly around 3.5 trillion. And that is also on just nominal terms, not in real terms there. That essentially means that we are basically, so it requires one India every year, right, till 2050 to basically work towards the lower carbon future and avoid warming by 1.5 degrees Celsius. So imagine everything that you are doing for the next 20, 22 odd years or 24 odd years is basically going just for limiting that 2 degrees Celsius climate change that you are, the global warming that you're looking at, right? And when you are basically cooling down your AC, it just takes couple of clicks to reduce your temperature over there. Put that into another perspective, you have Russia's GDP projection again, that it's going to be 2.16 trillion, Brazil, Italy, Canada, and this is something which is basically required. Imagine the amount of money that is basically required up over there. Should we start acting now, or should we waste India every year? It's more like wasting India every year, right? Because that is the amount of money that is basically going there every year to basically fight for climate change. Otherwise, we will cease to exist sooner or later for sure. So, a lot of finances are basically the best way to basically tackle these kind of climate change is that, okay, bring in partnership, right? So, one of the speakers brought in the concept of the fourth P, right? That is partnership. United Nations Sustainable Development has that 17th 17th goal up there, which is basically talks about the partnership for achieving of these goals over there, and that is something which is required. And this is where we need actions for mitigation, we need actions for adaptation, and we need finances which will basically help us going to do that, right? Now, where is this kind of finance basically coming up? If you look at it, right, so a lot of finance is basically getting into mitigation finance, and then a lot of them is basically getting into adaptation. But compare this with the actual amount that is required for mitigating, or that is required for investment into the seizing that rising temperature up there, right? So remember, it was 1.6 or 1.8 trillion that was required, around 3.5 trillion that was required. This basically looks like kind of a peanut there, right? Only 24.7 billion. That's like nothing when we are talking about trillions over there. Okay. So now the trends are basically seeing that, okay, the different kinds of finances are basically, or again, sustainability linked finances are on the rise, but still there is a long way to basically go, right? So you have sustainability linked loans, sustainability linked bonds, right? Sustainability bonds, then green loan and green bond up over there. Green bond basically forms a major chunk of these finances up there. But then it is still in its nascent stage, and we need a lot of work that needs to be basically done over there. The green bond market is expected that, okay, it is going to touch the 1 trillion, right? Again, an older data that we have from Bloomberg, we are still waiting for updated numbers over there, but then it is expected that it is going to happen. And similarly, if you look at the India's GDP projection up there, right, so it is going to match to the requirement that is required there. Now the question is, are governments actually taking right steps over there? If you are following a green bond market, right, you would come across that in the last year there were two green bond issues of 6,000, like 6,000 billion USDs up over there by India, but then both of them failed. Why did they basically fail? The government did not want to basically pay a 0.1% premium to the investors up over there. Now the question is that why should corporates be basically facing the brunt of going sustainable over there? That is again another angle that needs to be basically researched there. Why should government not basically, what is the purpose of government essentially? The government's sole purpose is essentially welfare of the people. Government is basically for the people, of the people, right? And by the people up there. Why government is passing on this onus on all to basically corporates up over there? Why government is not willing to pay a premium of 0.1%, right, to the other stakeholders who are going to engage into all green activities over there? Why should I basically get 0.1% lesser return there? Now there is always these kind of trade-offs, and this is what basically one of the speakers also pointed out, that okay, if it is basically left on to who's going to do that, whether it is me or you, essentially we all are basically going to lose out on that. So that basically needs to be like brought to a close at some point of time. in the leaders of the issuance of green bonds in the emerging market, if you look at it, so China definitely leads the pack. India is there, but then the margin or the gap is pretty huge up there. So we need to basically act more swiftly than before up there. Now, this is what I was talking about, right? Reserve Bank of India cancels 10-year green bond auction for the first time, right? 30-year sovereign green bond auction sails through. That is a good part. But then a lot of these things, like a lot of these basically issuances basically failed, right? So we need to figure out ways of basically ensuring that every investment that government does from now onwards, right, that basically goes into a more sustainable and a better future. Why does government basically get into exploration of traditional sources of energy? Why can't it basically fund everything that basically gets into a sustainable or renewable energy sources? So all these basically need to be discussed and pondered upon. Now, it's not only India which needs to discuss, and again, we did see that a lot of things are basically done across the markets, and we do have some learnings from across the markets as well, right? For example, UAE has come up with a CSR index, right? A kind of an incentive that is basically being provided to the corporations to work in a more sustainable way up there, right? So that is something that is there. Now, again, more details are up over there, but essentially it all boils down to that, okay, one needs to basically be incentivized, or the corporates need to be incentivized for acting sustainable, right? And then on the other side, in India, we are seeing that there is a governments and policy makers who are essentially looking for that, okay, they cannot go ahead and pay just a premium of 0.1% for embracing sustainability over there. They came up with CSR label, gold, platinum, and silver, which basically again provides an incentivizing mechanism up over there. Okay, move next. In India also, we are doing a lot of things. One of the very recent thing that we basically talked about is that the national plan for climate change that we have, right? So this is something that basically came up, and then from there onwards, recently the policymakers are talking about the new Green Deal that is basically happening. The new Green Deal is all about promoting sustainability, right? But then somewhere we are basically falling short on that, right? So we are basically we are still a long way away from what we are basically supposed to do. Okay, the GND that you see over there, right? So that is basically the Green New Deal that we have there, right? So we need to have this for addressing unemployment, right? And then we are also looking at this, like we need to have these Green New Deals for serving all the three pillars of sustainability, which is basically the people, planet, and profit up over there. Okay. Another interesting perspective that we had from one of the HBR article is basically that ESG is dead. And then again, it says that long live ESG. Shouldn't ESG, why are we discussing sustainability as a special item today? Shouldn't that be the natural way of working or the natural way of behaving? And that is what this author basically says. And this author says that, okay, let ESG be dead. No matter, you can come up with hundreds of different new jargons. You can call it CSR, you can call it ESG, you can call it governance, green finance, or green governance up over there, right? You can call it with 100 different names, but then let that be the regular way of action. Let it not be a special item. And this is what Ashwath Damodaran that we started with, like he basically comes up and says that, okay, if you're doing it with purpose, then obviously it is going to happen. But if you are doing it just for the sake of showing to the world that, okay, I have a sustainability snapshot or I have a sustainability report up there, then probably that is not going to function up there. And this is the same thing that basically is indicated over there. So we need new financial strategies to deal with problematic industries like the traditional renewable sources. The role of chief sustainability officer. Remember, we all wanted to be CEOs or CFOs in corporates, right? We wanted to be CHROs up there. But then now there is another stream, which is basically chief sustainability officer. And look at the governance structure of a lot of companies, the top big companies. If you look at it, now you have a CSOs there. And CSOs are often not reporting to the CEOs, they are reporting directly to the board. So they're at par with the CEOs who are present over there, right? So everything that a business does from now onwards, that has to be sustainable, and that is what the mandate is basically getting moved towards. Okay, then obviously we need to be more transparent in what we are doing, and then therefore we need something which needs to be accountable for, right? And therefore we also have something known as sustainability accounting. We often talk about circular economy, right? But then accounting in the context of circular economy basically becomes complicated. Accounting in the case of sustainability reporting basically gets complicated. But then can we basically come to some common platform there? We moved from Ind AS or GAPS to basically IFRS. It took us some time. Same way, we will move towards sustainability accounting framework, which is being developed by Sustainability Accounting Standards Board there, right? And we will reach over there for sure. The last thing that I want to share, or I want to basically bring into consideration, is that whenever we talk about finances, whenever we talk about businesses, right? Remember, 10 years back, profit maximization was the core goal of every manager up over there. Later, it changed to shareholders' wealth maximization. Now it has to shift to stakeholders' wealth maximization. Otherwise, we are going to fall flat on all our efforts towards sustainability over there. And therefore, now whenever you are taking any session anywhere, whenever you are having any discussion about businesses over there, make sure that it is all about stakeholders' wealth maximization. And when we talk about stakeholder, automatically people, planet, and profitability basically comes into picture. And with this, I leave you to your task of engaging with all the stakeholders in order to maximize the stakeholders' wealth over there. Thank you so much for listening patiently. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
We sincerely thank Professor Ritesh Kumar Dubey from XIM Bhubaneswar for his engaging keynote and address at ICSB 2025. His insights on fintech, sustainable finance, and ethical innovation were truly thought provoking and aligned perfectly with our conference theme. Now we are delighted to welcome Professor B. Nishanta, who has joined us virtually as our esteemed keynote speaker for ICSB 2025. Professor Nishanta is a highly respected academician from the University of Colombo, Sri Lanka, where he has made significant contributions to the field of management and international business. With an impressive academic and professional background, he has earned a reputation for excellence in research, teaching, and international collaboration. His scholarly work, which spans topics such as entrepreneurship, sustainable business models, and cross cultural management, has been widely recognized both in South Asia and globally. Professor Nishanta has played a pivotal role in fostering international academic partnerships, and his involvement in several cross border research projects reflects his vision of a more globally interconnected academic community. His ability to integrate global perspective with local business challenges makes his insight particularly relevant in today's rapidly evolving business environment. Though he could not be with us in person today, his virtual presence speaks volumes about his dedication to knowledge sharing and academic engagement. We are truly honored to have Professor B. Nishanta with us, and we eagerly look forward to his keynote address. Yes, sir. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. Can you make it full screen? Because your slides are not moving. Yes, sir. Yeah, make it full screen, sir. No, sir, not yet. Slides are visible, but not in full screen. No, you- no, sir. Yes, sir. You can continue with that. You can continue with that, sir. No. Yes, sir. It's moving.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We extend our heartfelt thanks to Professor B. Nishantha from the University of Colombo for joining us virtually and delivering an insightful keynote at ICSB 2025. Your thoughts on global entrepreneurship and sustainable business model have truly enriched the conference. So we will be sending a small token of love to you. Kindly do accept it, sir. Thank you very much once again. I'd now like to request Professor Raghunath Sahu, Principal Sai Bhubaneswar, to felicitate Professor Dubey with a memento.
Okay, okay, no issues. So you have your lunch and can go. Just 15 minutes it will take. Acha.
Okay, delegates, attention please. In 10 minutes, we'll have lunch, and after lunch, we will have our session. So the session chairs are there already, but we will awaiting one more session chair with us. So we will start exactly at 2 p.m. about the paper presentations. Thank you so much. We will have lunch exactly at 1 or 1:05. Please stay with us. Thank you. Dear paper presenters, with paper ID 4, 6, 7, 9, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 20, and 21, please give your PPT to our tech team so that we will start the session as soon as possible. Please give your PPT. Thank you.